Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and this time I'm trying my hand on a more proper review, let's say. So this is a new game that I played, Grey Dawn. It was released in the previous months, so because I recently played it, I really wanted to review it on my channel as I found it amazing for a 3-man developed indie game. The developer is Interactive Stone, and as said, it is a 3-man team from Romania. So of course, I love when cool games are developed by my countryfolk, and I do want to help them as much as I can, in this case through a review. So the game is, get ready for it, a religious first-person psychological horror adventure game focusing on story, atmosphere and puzzle elements. Well, and before we get into the game itself, we can look over a few elements from the options, and from what I could see, they are very simple but not limiting, giving you the normal options you would see in a game like resolutions, full screen, VSync, all the audio controls, subtitles, a few languages which fully translate all the writing in a game, and rebindable controls. So all good. And let's go in the game then. So here it is. This is how the game looks like, and yes, starting with the best of the game. The graphics, atmosphere and locations are amazingly created, detailed, inspired and worthy to be explored. At least this is how I personally felt when I played the game. The horror, religious and serene elements are also perfectly delivered every time, managing to get you disgusted, terrified, intrigued or even in awe until the very last scene of the game. Okay, story-wise,
me and the children from St. Anne's Orphanage.
Grey Dawn takes place around the year 1920 in a remote village in England, following the story of a priest on a quest to prove his innocence. Yet the priest, beyond the real accusations of murder, is also assaulted by devils, let's say trying to break him. At least this is how I understood the story in the first moments of the game.
Now, we have breaking news about the killer priest from Black Tower. Eyewitness confirms he really did murder those 8 children. Father Ryan Carpenter is here with a message for him.
Father, we have to speak about what you did. You used to call them angels, but in the end you killed them with a straight razor. They were innocent children, Father. There's blood on your hands. There's even blood on the altar.
For you know I am your humble servant. I hear the demons gnawing at my faith.
But throughout the game, you will also be transported to beautiful locations in Romania, which completely contrast the terrifying initial locations. And because of this, I found the game having extreme sides. One of horror and conflicts, which is in England, and another of beauty and serenity. And by using this alteration, I felt that the game gave me cool breaks from the horror elements. But of course, you can take in consideration that I am indeed subjective, as I live in Romania, so I was extremely pleased when I saw those locations. But on the other side, I can attest that the Romanian locations do well in representing the Romania's culture, so this is a good thing. Okay, so back on point. Indeed, I'm not a fan of horror games, so I really appreciated the moments of alteration between these two locations and these two themes, because these moments gave me time to breathe, to reflect on what happened, and to prepare for what's to come. Okay, now on the controversial side of the game. The story also follows this method, and it tells the events out of order, with many revelations in each of the contrasting zones. Basically, this is how the story is told. This might not be the best way to tell a story, as I found it hard to follow sometimes, and other times distracting from the enjoyable elements of the game, but still, this makes for a more original delivery and makes the simple story, which could be told straightforward and be boring, it makes it really more interesting, because you are always trying to figure out what happened yourself and to include the elements that the game provides, basically. So on the story side, on how it is told, you'll either love this fact or hate it.
I have a gift for you.
An image of Christ. What a curious gift.
You will find more of these. They're all scattered around my world.
And if we speak of hatred, well, not really hatred, but let's go a bit into the downsides of the game. I found that the ending drops in the collectible trap. Yes, this game has some hidden objects to be found, and I did appreciate them in the start, because they really give you a reason to explore more of those locations. But even though the endings are good from a story perspective, making them tied to a 100% completion condition, aka did you find all the hidden items, really defies the purpose of having alternative endings, and for me made it really disappointing. So in short, indeed, I can say that the endings are good, but being tied to this condition really breaks them, basically. Also, I found this to be about the same deal with the animation. It is mostly well done and not detracting from the game, the particle effects being quite good too, but the kids, those kids, the more complex animation given to the kids is almost cringeworthy. There are some scenes where you are near some kids and they try to do a sad scene, basically, but the whole purpose of that sadness in the scene is defeated by the cringeworthy animation that the kids have. So let's say this is not really bad, but funny in a way. You can find it funny. Okay, moving forward. Sadly, the voice acting doesn't manage to rise up to the same level of the visuals. Because of it, I did not find myself liking or getting to care for any character. Yet, for a 3-man indie studio developing their first game, I understand this. And for one, I did not find the voice acting of the game a problem, except when this became a distraction. Like when you are really enjoying the atmosphere that surrounds you, but
Merry Christmas.
the game doesn't stop talking, doesn't stop explaining, or doesn't let you enjoy the visuals and the atmosphere. I mean, I feel that the game needed some parts where you could just be left to discover and interpret yourself some parts of the story. Not everything needed to be voiced.
Regarding these events, I think we are paying for the sins we've actually never...
But yes, for me, voice acting is not there, but I did accept it and it did not pose a real problem for me.
My indispensable addiction.
On the other side, the music really managed to do it justice, as it helps delivering the serene locations and the melancholic and the sad events real good, and I found it quite enjoyable overall. even though, let's say, sometimes a bit repetitive. But I did appreciate the music, and I will also mention here that the horror locations are amazingly good because of the audio background design. This might not be music because it's more of the dark and the sounds, the environment sounds of a normal horror game, but in our case they are perfectly created for the terrifying and disturbing scenes, making them one of the best parts of the game. So yeah, they nailed it with this music and background horror element. Good, so moving forward, from a length perspective, this game will last you for about 3-4 hours. It is indeed a short game, and because of this, the whole experience felt a bit compressed and crowded, especially with all the religious and iconographic elements which were everywhere in the game. I did enjoy them, especially the parts containing elements from Romania's culture, but I do agree that all these elements can get a bit overwhelming, especially if you are not familiar with them. In the end, I really enjoyed my time with the game, and I felt that the whole experience was worth the purchase, even though a bit pricey. So if you do not think that all the elements of the game are for you, but you are still interested, I would recommend to get this game at a discount. But what I appreciate most is that you can clearly see that this game is a product of passion, love and effort, and this I understand and value. Thus for me, and for everyone that understands this game is worth the full price. Well, I guess these are all my thoughts on the game, and I hope it I hope it made for an okay review. So yeah, if you already played this, or maybe if you play it at a later date, do let me know in the comments how do you feel about this game and what impression did it make on you. For now, thank you a lot for watching. Do not forget to throw a like if you enjoyed it, and maybe subscribe if you want to see more of my passion videos. So have a great time ahead and game on. Bye.